Just hasn't started yet. Oh, no, it is.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to begin timing yet, but this is my lecture, which is a informative lecture that I'll be giving today. We have 4 of my students and also my camera person as my 5th member of my audience, and we shall begin in just a moment. Okay, so let us begin. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've been told in math that the greatest lie possible is statistics. I beg to differ. There's one other really huge concept that I think is a massive lie or a massive discrepancy in the world of mathematics, and that is the topic of averages. Today we're going to be discussing the topic of averages. If you don't know who I am or not familiar with me, my name is Vivek Khanna. I am, of course, your professor, and we will be continuing from here. Now, we will be using our course textbook today, our course textbook for standardized preparation, and we will begin our studies on page 205. So if you guys can flip to page 205, I'd be very appreciative. There are, in fact, 3 different definitions for the term average. Okay? The first one is the term or the definition we're all the most familiar with. This is the mean. Okay? When we calculate the mean, what we're doing is adding together the total sum of a list of numbers and dividing by the number of numbers. Now, there's a very simple and organized fashion in which to do this, and it's called the average pie. This is also described as the plumber's butt in slang, and I think you might be able to figure out why. What we do in the average pie is separate a pie chart into 3 distinct sections. The top section represents our total. The bottom left section represents the number of things we have. And the bottom right section represents our average. On any given question on your standardized tests, you will be given 2 out of 3 of these quantities and asked to calculate the third. For example, if the total sum of our numbers was 200 and we had a list of 10 numbers, our average would be 200 divided by 10, which would give us 20. So anytime we're given a quantity in the top portion of our pie and 1 quantity in the bottom portion, we divide down to get our third quantity. Now, there are 2 other definitions for average that I want to discuss today, and they're a lot easier to calculate than the mean. The first is what's called the mode. The mode is very simply the number that appears the most number of times in a list. If I have a list of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, my mode is 5, because 5 appeared the most number of times in this list. Now, as you can see, calculating the mode is a lot easier than calculating our mean. However, oftentimes questions will specifically ask for our mean, or the third type of average, which is the median. Now, the median is not too difficult to calculate, but there is one caveat associated with it, which we'll discuss in a moment. So the median is a list of numbers arranged from smallest to largest. And what our goal is to find the middlemost number. So if I had a list of numbers that were 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, my median would be the middlemost number, which is 3. The caveat that we have to incorporate is when we have an even number of numbers. Let's say I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Well, now I don't have a singular, unique middle number. I have 2 of them. What I do now is take the mean of my middle 2 numbers. So the median of this list of 6 numbers would be the mean of 3 and 4, which is 3.5. The only other careful move I'd ask you to make is to make sure on your exams that lists of numbers are arranged from smallest to largest. This concludes our discussion of averages. I very much appreciate your time, and thank you for your attention. And let me just scan over my audience one more time.